$9,960, that's almost $10,000, $246,133 in 10 years. Let that sink in. That's what would have happened if you had put $83 every single month into Bitcoin for the last 10 years, automatically, consistently, without trying to time anything. No lump sum, no watching charts, just $83 120 times in a row over 10 years. To put that in perspective, $83 a month is about $2.77 a day, less than what you paid for your daily latte, matcha, and definitely bubble tea these days. Imagine this, a series of small investments totaling $9,960 over 10 years, going to almost $150K, growing by $136,000. That's an ROI, or return of investment, of almost 1,400%. In other words, for every dollar put in over the last 10 years, roughly $14.70 came back out. That's a lot if you ask me, but here's the thing. Yes, hindsight is 20/20. That final number tells you nothing about what it actually took to get there. The discipline, the pain, agony, the nerves. Because in the last 10 years of what now looks like the perfect past investment opportunity, Bitcoin fell by more than 70%, not once, but twice. And for many people holding Bitcoin at that time, I bet it looked like the whole thing was doomed forever. But for those who hodled, what did they do or see differently? Quick note before we continue, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just a regular person on the internet sharing my opinions, research, and experience. This video is for education and entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Bitcoin is highly volatile, and past performance does not guarantee future results. Always do your own research, and if needed, speak with a qualified financial professional before making any investment decisions. And guys, I'm serious about this. Past performance does not guarantee future results, no matter how much we wish there were certainty. And more importantly, you can't expect to get the same results as fast or even within the same time frame. That's why I personally follow these two principles when buying Bitcoin. I only invest what I can afford to lose, and I only invest what I can hold long term. And that doesn't mean a year or two, but 5 years to even 10 years. Because as we've seen in the examples, and I'll explain more in a bit, it is in the long term that solid growth is possible. So many people fail and get disillusioned with investing because they chase short-term profits, get shaken out by volatility, and quit before compounding even has time to do its job. Physicist Albert Bartlett once said, "The greatest shortcoming of the human race is our inability to understand the exponential function. Most of us think in straight lines. Compounding does not." The same pattern shows up in our earlier number example where we invested $83 per month over the last 10 years. Zooming out, the first 3 years of this position looks almost flat, but the last few years is where everything happened. Do not, I repeat, do not underestimate the power of DCAing yourself to wealth. DCA is dollar cost averaging, which basically means you buy the same dollar amount of Bitcoin every month, no matter what the price is. This means when the price drops, your $83 buys more Bitcoin than it did at the peak. So crashes automatically lower your average cost without you doing anything. That is the whole mechanic. You don't need to wait until you've saved up $1,000 to invest in Bitcoin, and you definitely don't need to guess when the bottom is in either, like many are trying to do these days. If you want to learn more about the different ways to DCA Bitcoin, join me in this video later. You could argue, well, 10 years of DCA sounds simple on paper, and here are some moments that would have tested you and where many people quit. Moment 1. In June 2016, during our first buys in this example, Bitcoin was $624. Portfolio worth $83. Our first buy. Nothing exciting yet. December 2017, Bitcoin was at $15,246. In our DCA journey, that's buy number 19. Total investment, $1,577, portfolio value $20,662, up over 1,200% in just 18 months. Context: for the first time, Bitcoin reached peak mainstream cultural and financial awareness during that historic bull run of 2017. I mean, just read the headlines a few months earlier. Bitcoin bulls run wild as it goes above $3,000. Wow.
In terms of stock market, there's just no example of any breadth doing anything remotely like this. This is literally off the charts.
At that point, up 12 times on $1,577 in 18 months. What would you have done? Held, taken some profit, or gone all in? Drop it in the comments down below. And then something happened that left many investors burning everything down. Moment 2. The 2018 crash, the quitting moment. In December 2018, Bitcoin was at $3,961. That would have been buy number 31 in our DCA experiment. portfolio value crashing down to $5,955, down 71% from that $20,662 peak. That's when the real test began. This is when many people stopped. Headlines called Bitcoin dead and the forums went quiet. But in the DCA data, those months, $83 buying at $3,500 to $4,000 were the cheapest buys of the entire decade. It was the opportunity to accumulate Bitcoin at prices we would never see again. Think of it like canceling your gym membership because you don't see the results yet. You stop right before the compounding kicks in. Now let's jump to moment 3. The 2021 peak and the FTX collapse. October 2021, when Bitcoin was at $61,065. A whole different universe. Sorry to all of those who sold and are still crying. This is buy number 65 in our $83 per month experiment. Had you continued to invest just 5 years from the start of our experiment, your portfolio would have been worth $108,514 on $5,395 invested, up over 1,900%. But then in May 2022, Terra Luna collapsed. Not Bitcoin directly. This was a major crypto ecosystem built around a so-called stablecoin that failed to stay stable. Tens of billions were wiped out in days, confidence across the market collapsed, and Bitcoin got pulled deeper into the 2022 bear market. And in November 2022, FTX, one of the largest exchanges in the world, collapsed entirely. Bitcoin fell below 17,000. In our experiment in November 2022, we would have ignored all that panic, relax, and continue with our buy number 78, our portfolio standing at $29,438. Yes, down 73% from the $108,000 portfolio peak just about a year ago. Second gut punch in 4 years. Same pattern, just bigger numbers. Same psychology. But a committed DCA investor keeps buying the monthly $83. Everyone else is probably staring at the screen, wondering if they should sell what's left and walk away. Next, in recent history, something happened that would again leave the quitters sobbing. Moment 4, the spot ETF and the recovery. January 10th, 2024, the SEC approved the first Bitcoin spot ETFs in the US. BlackRock, Fidelity, and other major asset managers launched products designed to hold actual Bitcoin, not futures, actual spot Bitcoin ETPs. That mattered because these funds were designed to hold actual Bitcoin, not just contracts linked to Bitcoin's future price. It gave traditional investors a much easier way to get Bitcoin exposure through regular brokerage accounts, and it signaled that Bitcoin had moved one step further into mainstream finance. At this point in January 2024, in our experimental portfolio, we'd be at our 92nd buy of $83, and our portfolio would have been worth $73,538. That's on a total dollar investment of just $7,636. Shortly in March 2024, Bitcoin's price reached almost $74,000. The anxiety, doubt, and Bitcoin is dead narratives from 5 years earlier when the price was hovering near $5,000 were suddenly buried in history. But as I said earlier, humans are short-sighted. Then came April 2024, the fourth halving. The block reward dropped from 6.25 Bitcoin to 3.125 Bitcoin, cutting newly mined Bitcoin from roughly 900 Bitcoins per day to 450 Bitcoins per day. New supply slowed down again, and spot ETF demand was opening the door to more traditional investors. The rest is history. Bitcoin, volatile as it is, went up and down, but mostly up, until reaching its all-time high in the fall of 2025, reaching $126,000. Not for too long. We know the story. What followed were painful dips, crashes, and mind-boggling sideways movements, which again mostly made short-term holders panic. In our DCA example, we kept investing $83 month after month, bringing us to our final buy, our 120th buy of $83 in May 2026, the time of the making of this video, to a beautiful $146,133. Yes, you could say that was luck, since nothing is guaranteed here. But there was definitely a strong dose of patience and conviction. Now, I would have loved to tell you that I was that happy person who started DCAing $83 10 years ago, but I wasn't. I only started buying Bitcoin about 5 years ago. I wish I had started earlier, but at least I did DCA the out of it. I first started buying Bitcoin on exchanges, then gradually transitioned my holdings to cold wallets. For buying Bitcoin, I like to use Kraken at the moment. I like their monthly subscription model that gives me $0 Bitcoin trading fees, which saves me a ton. They also support recurring buys, which makes it easy to put DCA into action. You pick your amount, your frequency, and it runs automatically. You can use my link in the descriptions down below to earn $25 in Bitcoin if you deposit at least $100 in fiat money and trade at least $100. For those of you in Canada, it's $10 in Bitcoin for depositing and trading at least $100 Canadian in fiat money. And if you use my link, I may earn a small commission at no additional cost to you. For storage, I move Bitcoin off the exchange into cold storage. I use Blockstream Jade and my other favorite hardware wallet at the moment, which is the Cold Card, so that I control my Bitcoin fully. And I also make sure to add an extra layer of security when I'm checking my wallets and making transactions, so I make sure I never use public Wi-Fi. I use my own connection plus a reliable VPN. The one I'm using right now is NordVPN. You can find discounts and bonuses in the descriptions down below for all of these products. These are affiliate links, so I may earn a small commission if you use them at no additional cost to you. Now, a word of caution, guys. Here's the deal. While Bitcoin grew by so much over the past 10 years, there were also many crashes. For example, 2 separate 70% plus drawdowns in 10 years. Both times, nearly 3/4 of the peak value disappeared. Here's a scenario worth understanding clearly. Someone who put their entire life savings, say $50,000, into Bitcoin as a lump sum at the October 2021 peak, then panicked and sold everything at the November 2022 bottom, would have walked away with roughly $13,266, a permanent loss of about $36,700. The DCA investor did things differently. They watched their $108,000 portfolio drop to $29,000, but they kept going. That is a real psychological test. And this is, guys, why the following is so important if you plan to hold long term. Make sure you have an emergency fund so you're not tempted to dip into your precious Bitcoin. 3 to 6 months of living expenses and cash untouched. Only invest what you could genuinely lose and still be financially okay. And never put in any money that you will need in the next few years for tuition, for medical expenses, and so on. Now, where does this leave us? The almost 1,400% ROI in this video is historical data. We can't use past performance to project the future, and nothing is guaranteed. Looking at these past numbers, though, helps to put things in perspective. So when future crashes happen, we can just pause and ask, is this really the end, or is this just another period of temporary volatility? Personally, I am optimistic about the future of Bitcoin. This is just my personal take. I could be totally wrong. Please don't make financial decisions based on what I think. Study it yourself. But here's what I think. Yes, we've kind of been grinding sideways for what seems like an eternity. But when you think about it, Bitcoin's fundamentals haven't changed. There's still a fixed supply of 21 million, no single entity controls it, and the network has never been successfully hacked. A few tailwinds, not predictions, the US spot ETF approvals brought institutional capital into the space, corporate and government level accumulation is growing, and each upcoming halving further tightens supply. I don't know, but if you ask me, I find that compelling enough to keep going. If you want to hear more about why I think Bitcoin is the best asset out there, then join me in this video next.